Hey, Miggy.
Hello?
Hi, Miggy. That's fun.
Hello. Hello.
Hail the lag.
Hail the lag. Praise the sun. Hey everybody, welcome to the TMG Podcast, episode 43. We're in the first week of August here, and this is a podcast all about video games. Yep, with me today is the usual suspects, Carlos. Oh, sorry, first of all, I'm Will, with me is Carlos, and Miggy. What's up, guys? How you been?
Hey, what's up?
I'm just pretty bummed
Watch
out.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy because of that. But, yeah, I have
Did we all watch Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, I love this. Drax the Destroyer is all I need in my life.
If you guys listening to us haven't seen it yet, go watch it. It's a fun movie. Really fun movie, actually. You go in, you enjoy yourself.
I got shocked. I got shocked at how good and entertaining it was. Just like, I don't know, I had a smile all throughout. So that's a big plus for a very unknown film, to be honest. Because not many people know Guardians. As much as
it's really one of those. It's weird actually, because unless you read the comics, like no one knows who the Guardians of the Galaxy are.
Yeah, it's very rare. Like some people know like Iron Man.
Not
Spider-Man.
even some of the characters knew who they were.
Oh yeah, that too.
So, well, we'll get to that a bit because I think we want to discuss a little bit about movie licensed games today. But before we get to that, what you guys been playing?
Oh, shit. I want to start because I'm pretty excited. Because last week, The Last of Us Remastered came out. And that's the upgraded or the enhanced version of The Last of Us.
And you're coming from
came out on the PS4.
You're coming from a very unique position because you never played the PS3 version, right?
No, yes. Sad to say, The Last of Us came out, I think, last year, and that's the time when my PS3 conked out on me. It died. So I missed out on The Last of Us, but I intentionally, did not. I knew the PS4 was coming. I did not buy the PS3. I waited, and thankfully enough, Naughty Dog was, kind enough to release an enhanced version for me. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I got a PS4 at this month is because I want to play The Last of Us, and I got it. It's like around $2,000, the R3 copy, and I think I took around 4 or 5 days to play this game, and I don't know. Overall, I'll say it's a great game. I'll say it right there. It's a great game, but I don't understand the whole awards thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, I thought it was a fantastic game, but given the amount of awards it won last year at the award shows, I was also thinking, like, it's a good game, but it definitely isn't, I don't, it should definitely have won some awards. Best story, I think it fully deserves something like that, but I still always felt the gameplay was never really that great to begin with. I mean, it was workable, it was decent, but it wasn't anything particularly special.
It's nothing new.
Yeah, exactly. And when you were up against something like Grand Theft Auto 5, which is amazing gameplay-wise, it's hard for me to justify giving The Last of Us the award.
Actually, it's a great game. It's just like, it says right on the fucking cover, it says over 200 Game of the Year awards. Is it Game of the Year contender? For sure. But it's not a perfect game. It's not, there's a lot of reviews where we're saying that it's pretty much, positive all throughout, like every single angle. You see it, like in gameplay and art and visuals and storytelling.
Yeah.
Storytelling and visuals, it's a hands down perfect. But yeah, back to gameplay. The gameplay really brings it down. Sad to say. The gameplay really felt like a more of an experiment to somewhat retain what they're known for, which is pretty much the Uncharted kind of cover shooter. Because it's still a third-person cover shooter, but they pretty much mask it with the setting that they currently created, like the whole survival and the need to to save up and plan out, like call in your shots wisely as you go through the game. It's not anymore a run and gun. Like I have a million bullets. I can pretty much do whatever I want. You really have to plan it, and that is pretty much like an experiment. And they got a red idea, but there are still some parts where it was kind of like, it was stressful more than entertaining.
Well, you played it on that's probably maybe on the hardest difficulty, but I never felt it. Like, I never felt like, I gotta save up ammo for this. I never felt that when I was playing through the game. And I kind of wish that they had emphasized that a little bit more.
So you played in the normal.
Yeah, but they could have emphasized the survival aspect of it a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more of the scavenging and crafting side of things.
Because when I was checking out this game, people were saying that playing it on normal doesn't serve the concept of the game justice. Like, you have to play this game on the highest difficulty, because it really just shows you, like, you really have to watch your ammo. You really have to, like, pick out when you have to knock this guy out, or when you have to snipe this one, or when you have to go all guns blazing. Like, I felt that when I was playing my playthrough. So I guess when you go normal, like you were saying, it just felt like you have a good amount of ammo, a good amount of crafting items all throughout. Is that what you felt throughout the game?
Well, I never felt pressure that, like, oh shit, I'm gonna run out of ammo soon. I gotta look for material to, make some more. Like, never anything like, never any sort of feeling like that.
That's what I felt, though. I mean, it's the complete opposite. Like, apparently, I guess when if one of you guys want to play the game, in a very challenging point, I guess going to the highest difficulty, because it's not that punishing. It's doable. It's just now you really have to plan out. And I think you have, like, in normal, you have the listening mode. Like, you can press R1, I think.
Yes.
To see.
Yes.
I don't have that. Apparently, I went straight to the difficulty. Yeah, I saw I went straight up to the highest difficulty, and apparently that was disabled. I didn't even know that existed until I checked out some videos, and then I was like, oh wow, it's actually, you can press a button and that happens.
Yeah, you basically get spider sense.
Yeah, you get spider sense. You get a silhouette of the people walking around the stage, and I'm thankful.
Detective vision.
Yeah, detective mode, like Batman-ish thing, Joel's Batman mode. But I'm actually grateful to the fact I went straight up to the difficulty, because I think I wouldn't appreciate the gameplay as much, or even less, if I went straight up normal only, because it'd be too damn easy, and then I'll find that, because I was never in the point where I was maxed out in anything. I was always like, my shotgun's gone, I can't make a med kit. Like, there's always something missing, always. And I don't know, gameplay, I think it was dragging everything down because of how long the game was. I think that was the biggest complaint of mine, because I literally got tired of it already. It's like, the game was actually pretty long, and I felt to a point where, wait, this game is still going on? Like, I understand the story has to keep going, and I'd like to know more about the story, but I was at the point where, oh shit, I have to play more of this gameplay. I have to play more of these groups of bandits or clickers every now and then. It's not like, I guess, Infamous Second Son, where I was like invited. I invite more gameplay, more action. In The Last of Us, I was like, I don't want to. I just want to go past all of this already.
Do you feel like the game was a little longer than it should have been? Like, it should have ended earlier?
It could have ended earlier,
some point,
for sure.
You think it could have ended earlier, or they could have cut out some scenes and just sort of shortened the whole thing?
I think there's a point. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a certain section of the game where I think was completely unnecessary. They could have just scrapped it out completely.
Were you able to play the DLC as well, the storyline DLC?
I'm playing it. The Left Behind.
Yeah, the one when you play as Ellie and her friend, like it's a prequel story.
Yeah, I'm playing it right now. I'm not too sure where I am at this point, but I started playing it already. I just haven't finished it yet. I like where it started off, where it's pretty much this DLC, this story DLC, is pretty much filling the gaps of the main story, which I kind of appreciate, because the questions I had towards the end was actually at that point. So I understand the purpose of having Left Behind now. So I appreciate that they added that, and I don't know yet. I like change. So I think I'll talk about that next week. But I think I'm halfway, and I like the humor of it, like just kids playing around, and then obviously something horrible will happen because the verdict is in the end. Yeah, it's obvious already. But gameplay. It was, I guess, just the length of the game overall pretty much affected my enjoyment of the gameplay. If it was a little bit shorter, it would have been easier to swallow.
It got to the point where the game seemed to be adding gameplay for gameplay's sake.
Yeah.
Like you could
or just
tell
sort of
that this is going to be a combat zone. Like, I just want to get there, but then there's like 10 dudes.
Yeah, I was really to the point where I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to
more or less the same.
I got to a point where okay, I'm really invested in the story, but I really don't want to do the combat anymore. I'm so exhausted already by going through it over and over. I think it was around 15 hours. I think I played my first playthrough at 15 hours, 16 hours, and that's pretty long for a linear game that's
the
pretty much
average
following
for this game, though.
Yeah, that's pretty long for a story-based game, because story-based games are usually around 10 to 11 hours.
Yeah.
Like FPS-ish campaigns.
Yeah. That's
pretty draggy.
One of the common complaints from the original Last of Us was how there's some moments where your immersion is sort of ruined because of some game quirkiness, like how Ellie is invisible to everyone, for example. Did you ever encounter that when you were playing?
Oh yeah.
I encountered that too many times because when I'm playing it in the hardest difficulty, as I said, and so I was kind of forced to stealth more often than most of the time. And again, it's like a double edge, like more of a double whammy for me because I really hate stealth. So I was put in a position to really just struggle with crouching half the time. But when I do that, I'm walking around, going through clickers slowly. Because if you full throttle that joystick, the guy will see you and you're dead. So you have to gently tap that joystick as you tiptoe around the clicker. But all of a sudden you see Bill or Ellie just run past all the clickers and just sit beside them. And then it destroys the immersion completely because you're all in the dark, crouching, keeping quiet, and all of a sudden some stupid child just runs or whatever. It happens too often that actually. Yeah. There's even a point where I actually died because Bill, one of the characters who becomes an AI, which helps you out, I kind of run past. I kind of sprinted towards one corner of the room, and I guess he didn't follow fast enough. And so when I crouched in the corner of the room, he pretty much I guess he caught up. But when he was catching up, going straight to me, he was dragging. As he was going to me, he was dragging a clicker towards me. So the AI was pretty much pushing the clicker towards me, and I had nothing to do but just get eaten. Because once you're at a certain range on the clicker, he'll instantly just bite you, no matter what. So it happened I think twice. I don't know. It's pretty stupid. I remember when The Last of Us was being advertised. I should have. I actually have one shared video where a bug where one bandit was going left and right inside a door, back and forth. I don't know what the hell happened there. It's not that polished as people say. But what I was trying to say is the marketing of this game, when they were saying that the AI is revolutionary, not really. I don't see it's not dumb AI. It's decent AI. I see AI combat, AI enemies flanking me every now and then, looking for me, but you'll still get those occasional AIs where they find you, but if you run around in circles behind them, they'll lose track of you eventually, and then you're just in the shadows all of a sudden. And they're like, oh, where did he go? So it's not that
they forget where you are. Yeah,
they forget. Yeah, and I was just running around him, and I was running around him through a bookcase, and that was it.
One of the things that kind of bothered me though,
yes,
that when you're walking around and then you start a conversation with Ellie, which is completely scripted, but at points in time, you might be miles away from her, and then she's still talking to you. It's like a ghost that's following you, and that kind of bothered me also.
And you kind of miss the conversation because it's based on distance. Like if she's really far away and she's talking to you, and she's assuming you're there, you can barely hear her because she's far away. And then like, oh, I missed it. And then that happened anyway. So, but yeah, the AI isn't so revolutionary as they were trying to put it on when they were advertising this game. It's not. But the good thing about it though, it's not bad to the point where you have to babysit Ellie half the time. Like Ellie can survive during a combat. You don't have to save her every now and then. She will throw a brick at an AI to help you every now and then, but it's still all you. It's still all Joel, pretty much killing the whole shebang of enemies that just show up every now and then. So that's combat.
But it's a credit to this game's like how well it's made, because we do kind of have to nitpick it for all these minor things, which in any other game would probably get away with just fine,
Yeah, well, for me, I'm not really trying to nitpick it because it's an award-winning game. It's more like when I was playing it, it's just the reason like why everybody else would nitpick it is because it just constantly happens. Like it's just a completely big negative where like the combat was dragging. It was too much combat. The very unusual AI that would destroy immersion. That just happens every now and then. So it's kind of hard to not to not mention it, because it just happened constantly.
It's the kind of thing where the game is really good, but then the flaws are just like so obvious and inherent that you have to point it out, since it's like always in your face, and it's not even like new game problems. It's old stuff that has been fixed by other companies and games before.
Yeah, and you can really tell that these kind of issues that we mentioned is pretty much Naughty Dog trying to like experiment or like be open to new ideas, because initially they're not really a stealth game. Initially they're not really much of an AI kind of company or whatever, and I guess it's just not their thing. It's just they're trying something new. We had some little problems with it, and then hopefully if they move on with this franchise or not, or if they try to use the same mechanics, they learn a thing or two on this kind of combat, and they can translate their experiences to the next game. Just like how Uncharted, you saw the progression of Uncharted, how it just got better, it got better at 1 and 2, and then they just go a little bit the same at 3, but So that's what I think. But we haven't even touched the good parts about this part, about The Last of Us, because for one, the best part, I don't know about you guys, but for me the best part is pretty much the story and the characters.
Yes.
That
one, agree.
The best, hands down the best in that generation, like in PS3, or like last generation. Like, screw Beyond Two Souls, you can screw Uncharted. Like, this is an amazing story, and then they have
Screw David Cage.
Screw David Cage. I don't know, man. Like Naughty Dog knows how to make a cinematic story, knows how to build up characters, make you love or care about these characters, and make your jaw drop towards the end, and really just make your mind think about it for days. Because that's what I think about a great story from a video game, where you start thinking about the story for like days on end.
This one didn't make me think days on end, but it did give you an ending that was thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Some people will agree with it, some people don't agree with it, but whatever people say, you thought about it,
Yeah.
And I think that's what made the ending really special. And frankly, I think if they make a sequel to it, they need to leave this story alone. Like, they shouldn't touch it. Just start something new with new characters in the same universe. That's fine, but
leave the current
the story of Joel and Ellie, I think, is done.
Leave them be. Like, I think Naughty Dog has created a very interesting post-apocalyptic setting where sorry.
Jeez, Joel.
My tiger bomb fell. I'm sorry. Leave this world be. I mean, leave
the current
characters
cast alone.
Yeah, this world that's created, like the whole post-apocalyptic with the semi. They're not zombies. They're more like the infected. Like this world that they have the characters now living in. I want to see more of that. I want to see more about this fungus infection and how other characters are coping. Because it might be similar to like other worlds where like The Walking Dead or other post-apocalyptic games, but this one's they're monsters. I don't know, they're kind of unique in a sense, and I want to see more of it as they move forward. But in terms of Joel and Ellie, I think it would be a horrible idea if they just continue that story after The Last of Us. It just doesn't make any sense. like it has now concluded, and there's no other reason to bring them back. But yeah, for sure though, I would like to see a sequel, but not with the characters.
So like all the praise that, or like most of the praise that this game gets aside from graphics is all the story, right? Even you guys agree that the story is great. Like it's nothing new, but I think that ending, like without that ending, I would not have really even liked the story, because it's a typical zombie apocalypse. But like that, the weight of that ending just changes my perspective. But which is why I think that The Last of Us could work on almost any other form of medium except a video game, because like you said, the combat gets draggy, and like it's like false gameplay extension. Like you can tell, like, oh, there's gonna be a combat zone, like, oh, especially near the end. And since it's a slow and stealthy game, you can't just run and gun it. You really have to like do it the way they want you to play.
If you know like the last part of that game, like I don't want to spoil it, but that part is hard to run and gun, and I tried to like just run past it. I just want it to end because I want to see what the hell's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
so many dudes.
And that's a long stretch, and that was hard. So, but yeah, the story, for one, for those who don't know, it's just pretty much the world of The Last of Us starts with Joel with his daughter and all that, and pretty much
they're escaping the apocalypse.
Yeah, when it pretty much happened, and these are not zombies. These are pretty much a virus that affects
plant zombies.
A fungus, basically.
Fungus, affects humans, and then pretty much give them like the fungus
them go
actually
nuts.
They make them go nuts. Starts going munchies on humans, and then
they spread their spore.
Which you have to note. Okay, just take a note that funguses are kind of, there are actually funguses that do that to insects.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they kind of took that concept and just ran with it, I guess.
Yeah, because I think their basis was there's literally a fungus in the world where it goes to an ant or any kind of insect, and the reason why they're doing that is they go straight to the brain so that it can manipulate the ant's mind into like attacking other ants to bite them, so that their fungus can like infect the whole army and eventually control the whole army in the end, like the whole ant army or the whole ant colony. Because the fungus literally attacks the brain and it fuses itself into the brain, and that's what happened with The Last of Us is infected. And when the outbreak actually happened, I don't want to spoil it. Something horrible happens in Joel's life, and then they fast forward like 20 years into the future, and now it's present day, and Joel is pretty much based on the circumstances and the situation that he encountered in the first few hours, he meets Ellie, and now Joel and Ellie will have to go cross country and pretty much go through all of that together. And then as you progress, you pretty much see the growth between
the bond.
The bond. Because like in the start, you can feel the distance between these two
tension
characters and the tension, and then as you move forward, you can actually feel the growth between these two characters and how they start to get more fond. Like Ellie starts to trust Joel more. Joel tries to include add more responsibility to Ellie in terms of like what they have to do to survive. Like you can see a real growth, and then you start to care about these characters, and the other supporting characters around them support that concept of like just the. I guess I can't say a father-daughter relationship, but they have that kind of relationship, like that kind of growth, that growing relationship, and I don't know, it was very pleasing to witness, and I like the fact that Joel, it's like two sides, because Joel has seen the world before the outbreak, and Joel has seen what the world has become after the outbreak, and then we have this girl called Ellie, who I think she's 14 when we were playing the game.
She was born as
she was born.
Thing.
Yeah, when everything was broken.
When everything just happened, yeah.
Yeah, so when you go through the game, every now and then Ellie will just blurt out about random things she encounters, like a poster of a model or other things. Like she reads a diary of some teenager.
She finds an arcade machine and it was like, oh, a friend of mine told me about this. It's really cool, etc. Then she
she never played a video game. Yeah.
Yeah.
like all those small little tidbits, and then her trying to pretty much understand the world before the outbreak, and then Joel tries to make her understand it. It was very interesting to have those two sides like pretty much bump heads every now and then. It's really a big build-up. It's just, I guess, again, the story is perfect. I don't want to I don't want to say more about it because I don't want to spoil it. But it just comes back to the combat. It just the combat really was a problem. It was such a big problem. It really just detached myself on this story that I just want to invest my time with. I don't know. I guess for those who have never played The Last of Us and who has a PS4, I pretty much highly recommend getting the remastered edition because, well, I waited, and what included in the remastered edition was pretty much this game is running at 60 FPS, and I have no basis. There is an option where I can bring down the FPS from 60 to 30, and I did see a difference, but I don't know. I can't really make that as a selling point for this game. I can make this a selling point mainly just by the story. It's just like if you guys want to play it, it's not about the 60 FPS, not about it's just really just about the story. And also included in this remastered edition is all the DLC left behind, all the multiplayer packs, all dropped into the CD. And I think it's also a lowered price. It's only 2,000 pesos. So.
And it sounds like it's a good double dip too for those who have played it. Because
that's I can't answer that though. Like if it's worth double dipping. For those who haven't played it,
if you play the PS3 version, you miss half the game because you're literally missing half of the frames, right?
60 frames is not 100%. It's not.
You only experience 50% of the game.
I played an hour or two of the game in 30 FPS. I see a bit of difference in terms of motion and a little bit of the shadow effects. So yes, 60 FPS does look better, but you're not missing out if you go 30 FPS as well. It's just a little bit of an extra plus. Because as much as visuals and combat, it's really just the story. That's really the key here in the game. And I don't know, Will, you played the PS3 version. I mentioned the 60 FPS, you get all the content. And enhanced visuals. Is it going to be worth double dipping if you're in a position where you have a PS4 right now?
For me, it would be, because for one, it means I don't. Well, I bought the DLC already, but if I hadn't bought the DLC, there is no Game of the Year edition which would contain it. So that in itself, because it is a lowered price, makes it worthwhile. Plus, you did mention they have developer commentary.
Oh yes,
and all the DLC stuff. So
they have behind the scenes on the making of The Last of Us, and as well as the commentary. Because when you unlock the cinematics, they have an option to, when you want to watch it again in the gallery, you can actually turn on the commentary and they start talking about the scenes, which is actually pretty interesting because you can, I don't know, they got really into it because they were trying to explain like each and every conversation what they were trying to achieve through the scene. So it was pretty interesting, and I highly recommend it. It's not like 10 out of 10 for me. I'd maybe put it as an 8, most likely. It's a good game. For those who don't like stealth, you might not like this. I'll just say that right now. So.
It's not for cowboys.
It's not. You will not run and gun and survive in this one, because you only have 2 bullets every time you have to go through clickers. For Christ's sake. But yeah, that's about it for me in The Last of Us. I'm holding it right now. I might play more of it actually. What about you, Will or Migs?
Well, I'm not.
Go ahead, Migs.
Because it's a good story, but I don't think it's something that you need to revisit again anytime soon. I guess maybe for collection's sake. So if I get a PS4, I'll probably get it for myself, but not brand new, I guess, because I did play it on PS3.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't like I said before, it works for me. It works as anything else in any form of medium. Except a video game, because the video game aspects hinder the experience. Like you said, it drags on. Yeah. And for me, I also felt that very early on, I just don't want to play it anymore. So, yeah. If a game is not fun as a game, then for me that means it fails
as a game.
No, it's understandable because in a nutshell, it is a video game. As much as it wants to be a very cinematic game. Kudos to Naughty Dog.
It's not like it's fine if it's a video game, but I don't like how the game is actively forcing you or reminding you that, hey, I'm a video game, you have to play me. Stop enjoying these really long cutscenes. I'm gonna throw 15 dudes at you right now. And I'm just like, I'm done. I don't want to play this anymore. That's me. And I'm not a fan of Uncharted either, but like, at least Uncharted I can see, like, it doesn't hide itself, like, they really force 30 Cubans at you in a room to shoot.
You just really hate the number of enemies just being dumped in the room for slaughter.
I don't know, I just don't like it. To be fair, I like how The Last of Us controls more than Uncharted.
I like the cover system where you don't have to freaking snap yourself on the wall.
I like how shitty the shooting is on purpose, so that you really have to be careful with your ammo.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be very human, so to speak. I don't know how that was that, but
yeah, but that's me. Like, it's cool, but I don't like it as a game. Maybe the movie will be okay because that's apparently a thing that's happening. Yeah,
it was announced at Comic-Con where they're gonna make a motion adaptation of The Last of Us, which I'm actually pretty interested because again, the environment or the world was actually
the lore. Is interesting.
It's very interesting. But kudos to Naughty Dog for being still the very cinematic studio. But they had a really cool crafting system, like you can craft more Molotovs based on what you salvaged throughout the world and all that. But the gameplay felt more like an experiment, and I hope they just improve on it if they implement it on a future Last of Us or another game. So that's my 2 cents for The Last of Us.
Will, The Last of Thoughts, go.
The Last of Thoughts, it's a good game. It's worth a remake. It may or may not be worth a double dip. Definitely, overall, not as good as the critics say it is, but still worthwhile experience.
Yeah,
that's I think sums it up pretty much. Definitely. Well, I haven't been playing anything new. I'm still playing War Thunder, actually, myself. So
yeah, I got. Well, speaking of War Thunder, I got my fair share of it in my PS4. I like it better than World of Tanks. I'll just say that right now.
It's now that I've had a chance to play it a bit more, it's a lot less arcadey than World of Tanks is, but still maintains enough that you don't feel like, I gotta get a whole fucking like flight sim setup for this shit. Or,
I just hate the fact that even I know it's an open beta and all that, but in this stage of the game, I at least hope or wish that they'd add descriptions on what I'm doing with my upgrades on my tanks or on my planes.
That's what's missing actually a lot is the descriptives, especially for like your crew. It's missing a lot of information on what the crew skills do. So
skills. Okay.
Yeah, your crew have different skills. Well, not different skills per se, but how does the gunnery skill like really affect you? It doesn't really tell you.
But I played a couple of it. I played mostly in the tanks, and it's better than World of Tanks from what I've seen. And they, like I mentioned before the cast, they utilize the touchpad very in a smart way. Because in tanks, in the gameplay, you can actually hit very vital points on a tank, like the ammo or the gunner.
So you use the touchpad to kind of fine tune your aim? Is that
fine tune my aim? Yeah, to exactly where I want to hit. I use the joystick to pretty much bring my cursor to where I have to where the enemy tank is, and if I can't get that fine tune, I put my thumb on the touchpad to really get that accurate shot. Like if I really want to shoot the peephole of the tank, like I cannot get that accurate with the joystick because I'll be like jumping over it or whatnot. The touchpad really makes me feel like, okay, I need to get this right, and then I get it. And I like it. It's a very interesting addition. Like you don't have to use it, but if you really want to be accurate, there you go. It's right there, and it works. And and I've seen a lot of cool adaptations to the touchpad for the PS4 controller, and it's now starting to feel more and more not like a gimmick. It's really actually is an extra button, and it's very, very effective. But yeah, I'll play more of Warzone. I just don't have net right now. I can't play them online games to really get a full grasp of the game. But it's free, so.
But and the nice thing is, apparently, we just tried this. I'm playing it on the PC. Carlos is playing it on PSN, and I'm able to add him on my friends list. So I have a feeling there might be some cross platform here.
I think it is cross platform. I hope it's cross platform. I saw in the stats like 33,000 people are playing.
Yeah, and that's what I see it.
That's a good amount, and there's a big possibility it is cross platform. And I would like that. That would be pretty damn cool. So there.
I agree. How about you, Migs? Have you been playing anything new?
I bought Killer is Dead yesterday. Seems pretty cool, but...
Suda 51.
Yeah, I need to play more before I can say anything. What I have played this week, which I think deserves a mention, is a very, a not famous PSN title that I think is really good. And that is Malicious.
Okay.
Y'all haven't heard about that either, right?
Yeah, to the point where I'm going to Google that right now.
So, I got it during one of the flash sales that happened not too long ago for, I think, $2, I guess. And I was like, what is this game? So I looked up gameplay footage, and it's a character action game. A third-person character action game. So, I like those things, so I got it. And I tried it, and you know how in almost every game you have to go through a gauntlet of dudes before you fight the final boss? In this one, it's like you pick one of the, I think, 5 stages, and you're instantly thrown into an arena with the boss and all of his minions at the same time. So you're fighting...
Oh, wait, this is a third-person hack and slash. That's the best way we can describe this right now?
Yeah, because you do get a sword weapon. But it starts off really weird because you initially only have one weapon. And it's not even like any standard character action weapon. You actually shoot like missiles or lasers first. Then as you kill like the bosses in each area, you get their like power or weapon. So like one guy gives you the giant fist and the other one gives you the sword, etc. So that was really jarring for me because like this doesn't feel like a character action game. And yet all the video and screenshots I looked up seem to imply that it is. So I beat the first boss I fought, and I got the fist power-ups, and then now I get it.
Does it get a little bit of a DMC feel, or it's just trying to stray away from that?
It's not like DMC because you fight giant bosses and not like individual enemies. Because the small goons for the most part are fodder. Because it has this weird thing where you have to collect aura, like aura in Tagalog, I guess.
Aura.
And aura in Tagalog, okay.
No, aura, because A-U-R-A.
Oh, okay, oh.
Aura.
Oh.
And you can use the aura to enhance your normal attacks, but that you can only harm the boss with the aura power-ups.
Okay.
Aura. So what you have to do is you have to kill a few goons to get some aura back, and then burn it on the boss or burn it on the goons to get even more back by doing combo attacks.
Okay, so there's a reason to kill the father instead of ignoring it.
Yeah, and some in the first area I fought, there's just a lot of guys. It's like a circular arena, so there's just a lot of guys everywhere. But another boss I fought, he would occasionally drop down goons from the ceiling of the stage because they're trapped in little cages. So there would be segments where there are no goons, and I have to just lame it out and wait for him to drop the creeps and get the aura to actually damage the boss.
Okay,
that's cool. So it sounds like the bosses are all quite varied in how you play them.
It's a thing where you can start on any stage.
Okay, like Mega Man style.
Yeah, and it's not really rock, paper, scissors, but certain weapons will definitely help you out on certain bosses just because of their attack patterns and play styles, maybe.
So how's the gameplay without the bosses, like outside, or is it just all plain out? You're fighting bosses.
It's you're essentially fighting bosses because each stage is not really a stage; it's just a big arena with like a different setting, like a sky fortress or a classic arena or like a prison.
Now I getcha. Okay.
So it's neat. It was just really weird that you don't start with any physical attacks, and the way the missiles work is you have your normal attack, your square, and a special attack, which is triangle, or your heavy attack. And the way the missile works is when you press square, it'll just shoot and auto-target whoever is on your lock-on or whoever is closest to you. But if you press triangle, it brings out a big circular aiming reticle, and if you hover over enemies with it, it'll lock on. Like one of the space shooters games, like Omega Boost or something.
Oh my God,
Omega Boost. I haven't heard
Omega
that game.
Well, I just went all nostalgic. There's actually Omega Boost in I think SM Sukat. Oh my God.
So yeah, that was a bit weird. But when I got the fist and the lance power up, then I was like, oh yeah, now I understand how this game works. And I think there really is only 5 stages, but you can play a stage multiple times, and the bosses will get harder each time.
Okay.
And I think it gives you different rewards. So yeah, it's a download.
How much is this?
So I got it on a sale, so I don't know the standard price, but it is available on PS3 and I think
Vita.
In Japan, surely it's available also on the Vita. I'm not sure about North America. So it's a neat little PSN.
That seems like a
It's a neat little PSN gem. Yeah, that everyone needs to try out. It's pretty good. I'm gonna play.
It came out this year or last year?
I'm not sure. I think it's been out for a while.
Okay. There's no story in it? Is it just straight up?
There's a story, but
oh, God.
It's nothing really to mention. Like, oh, you need to dispel the evil in blah blah blah. You're some sort of mystic god or something. Last bit though.
Oh, evil, kill evil. That's it.
Last bit though. You know that the aura is measured by numbers on the top left of the screen.
Okay.
But it doesn't show you any form of life bar. Like, it shows you the boss life bar in like the top center as a circle bar that drains. But you yourself do not have a life bar. And guess what the life bar is?
The aura?
No, it's your limbs. Like, the more you get hit, your arm starts disappearing and your legs start disappearing. And once you have no arms and legs, like, the next hit will kill you.
Wait, what do you mean your limbs disappear? Like, you lose? Like, you cut off your limbs? Or they just fade away?
I guess you're like a spirit entity and you don't actually run on the stage, you float around.
Oh, I see, okay.
So, your arms will start disappearing, like, the more damage you take.
Okay, I was like wondering if you weren't floating around, like, what? If you have no legs, you have to, like, use your arms to move forward? Or
No, your weapons are like this spiritual scarf around you. So it's like black energy that comes out and makes the form of a fist or a lance or a sword.
Ooh, spiritual scarf.
That sounds a lot like when you say scarf, I think of Journey, you know.
Sort of like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's Journey. And I don't know if this plays into anything, but like you have these. Your clothing is like sleeves and like long flowing items. And I actually saw this when I looked up the game info. When you lose your limbs, your clothing also gets ripped in the process. But when you heal, your limbs come back, but your clothing does not.
Oh, this sounds like a really pervy game.
No, it's not pervy because of course your torso doesn't get damaged at all. But I don't know if it plays into like maybe your stat defense or anything. Because people talk about it like I think a bit too much in the forums when I looked it up.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's neat. I'm gonna try a bit more.
All right, that sounds a bit cool. It's a good time sink, I think.
Oh, and one last bit. It runs a hell of a lot smoother than Drakengard 3.
Oh, that's saying a lot.
Damn, Drakengard 3.
That's a retail game, for Christ's sake. The Drakengard 3.
Yep. That's my
would Would you even recommend Dragon Guard 3 at a double, like, like
yes. Now,
second hand?
Yeah, even brand new. If you like Nier or any of those styles of RPGs with that kind
Technically, it's supposed to tie into Nier, right?
Yeah, it's a prequel to Nier.
Okay, there you go.
Initially, I was like, this game is just okay. It runs like shit, but it's not bad. But after you beat the initial storyline and get into all the alternate endings that build up to the final ending, opens up. Yeah, then that's because the story is just really, really good. For me, at least.
Okay.
It gets into that weird multiverse anime style, and it's kind of dark. Yeah.
When it comes to video games, like, every now and then I'd like to appreciate a good story, especially when it's a mindless hack and slash. Like, if it actually comes out as a good story, like, hey, cool. You know, it's a big surprise.
Yeah, Dragon Guard 3 starts off really, like, heavy and gets a bit stupid, but then the story is really, like, heavy once you get into the meat of it, so.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's pretty much what we've been playing. Let's get into our discussion for the week. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about movie licensed games and licensed games in general. Mainly due to the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy was released this week, and like most major film releases, it came with a game. In this case, it was a mobile game. But what made it interesting for me also was Disney kind of took a different route. And instead of pushing out like a triple A PS3 or I guess PS4, PS3, 360 like cross-platform game, right?
Yeah.
They just shoved Guardians characters in a bunch of existing Marvel games already. So Disney Infinity got Guardians of the Galaxy's figures. I think Marvel that Marvel Dota game got a
Dota game? That's a Dota? No, right? You're talking about Marvel Heroes. You're talking about the Diablo-ish?
The Marvel Online MOBA-ish?
Yeah, it's kind of like a MOBA thing.
Okay.
I have the list here.
You gotta include Marvel.
Disney Infinity got Marvel Avengers Alliance got the Guardians in there. Marvel War of Heroes.
Okay.
Marvel Heroes, sorry.
Yeah.
Got them in there. There's a new Marvel Pinball, apparently. I didn't realize there was Marvel Pinball, but there you go.
Yeah, there is. I'm not sure if it's free, but yeah, there's a Marvel Pinball. And I guess they have their own theme.
Minecraft got a Guardians of the Galaxy skin pack.
What?
Yeah.
So essentially, instead of spending money on a full game, they just pretty much just dump assets on other games, just for the sake of, I want to play, as Chris Pratt or Gamora.
Yeah.
Or Star-Lord,
personally, I think this is a better route to take in general than as the traditional route of pumping out a game at the same date as the film. Like, the recent Transformers 4 had a game, Rise of the Dark Spark, which was met with pretty much universal bad reviews. Even when that game attempted to cross with the High Moon Studios Transformers game, it pretty much got terrible reviews all around. So
I don't know. For me, licensed games in general that are supposed to be tied in with the movie, and flat out for me, I honestly consider it as shit always. Like Amazing Spider-Man 2, they have a movie came out, a game came out. I don't expect much from movie tie-in.
No, I agree with you completely. I think there's two types of licensed games you can hear. One is the ones that are basically just made to push the film,
movie
right?
tie-ins.
They're movie tie-ins that are basically come up from an idea from marketing, and they say, "Yo, we need a video game to go along to promote our big summer movie."
Yes.
So they go to Activision, whoever, and they tell, "Yo, can you make a game in like 8 months before a movie releases?" And they're like, "Sure, you just pay us a ton of cash."
And then there you go.
And for them, I whether the game does well or not, I don't think makes much of a difference to the developer because at the end of the day, it's the movie marketing budget is paying them already, right? So regardless of how many copies sell, that's just added on to what was already paid them by the movie companies to make the game.
Yep.
So now, of course, I'm not saying I think every developer doesn't go into these sort of things and say we're going to make a shit game and just get it done with right there. I think everyone wants to make a good game.
It's all dependent on the budget.
But it's the thing is that these games are usually made of such a constrained timeline and budget that you can't really expect a lot.
And there's limitations because I guess there's I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's some movie tie-in games where they come out earlier and they kind of don't want to hint too much about it, so marketing is kind of bad for that one. And maybe first half of the game is something it's not entirely in the movie, but they just add it anyway, just for value. So I don't know. For me, it's just weird. I guess when adding movie because I guess the kids have a kick out of it, but
they're definitely marketed more towards kids for sure. I think that's true.
Part.
No,
but furthermore, I'll tell you this though. My brother bought a PS4 for his kids, and he got Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I know, but I'm fueling his game.
Spider-Man 2. No, but that's the thing. Spider-Man 2 was somewhat of a rare exception because that was a very good game. Now, not a very good game.
It's a decent movie game, yeah.
It was a decent movie game, yeah.
It looked kind of crap to me when I was watching my
the game looks kind of poopy. But it's not bad. It's not bad.
For a PS4? Oh my god.
It looks like a PS3 game on PS4. Or a bad PS3 game on PS4.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just it felt like crap, and then my nephew actually finished it in 2 days. I was actually surprised with that one.
Yeah, it's really short.
And it's really short as well, and it was short already to the point. Even though they added extra enemies like Kingpin and Scorpion, but they added Black Cat. They added other characters that wasn't supposed to be in the film, and it still felt kind of I don't know, lacking. Was it an open world? It seemed like an open world.
It's an open world game. Yep.
Yeah, not much of it.
Well, so what do you guys think? Do you think this is a better?
Before we go into the movie games in general, the whole Disney approach to Guardians of the Galaxy being cameos in other games, I think that's a better option for them because I'm sure Guardians of the Galaxy is not a household name to the people who don't follow the Marvel comics. Or even to the people who do, especially after watching the movie, the first maybe half or maybe 3/4 of the movie does not feel like a Marvel movie at all. Right? You know what I'm saying? That it doesn't even look like a Marvel movie until it starts until they show Thanos and Purple Man, he's a Avengers guy, right?
No, I kind of agree with Mickey. And it just makes more sense to the point that they just pretty much dump their characters on different games that have a community, have a fan base, people are playing it, other than creating a whole new game. Because this is like you said, this is a world, there's a set of characters that are not really well known. I'm sure there are some very avid comic book readers that know Guardians, but some comic readers don't. And maybe majority of the people who are watching Guardians for the kids and all that also don't know Guardians. So I don't think it makes sense to dump all their marketing on making a game. But instead, if you like Guardians, you like the movie, you can play a game that you're very familiar with, Ultimate Alliance or whatnot. Or if you're playing Minecraft for the kids, I want to put in Gamora.
I want to be Batista.
Or Disney Infinity, where you can play, I'll buy an action figure for Disney Infinity. So it kind of plays better that way. And I think it should be something like that, especially for new IPs.
But so would it in a way how would you do you think if it's a more known character that sort of justifies building? Because the other point I wanted to bring up before this is if you look at some movie licensed games that are actually good, the majority of these, the common factor I tend to notice with them is that they're made more after the fact. They're made not necessarily to launch with the film, but just because they're a fan of the film and they want to do something. The example I can think of two good examples. One is the Riddick game, which was a FPS I think from early 2000.
Yeah.
That was very good. Even though the film was not very good, but I thought that Riddick game was pretty good. And then the other one was the Ghostbusters game by Atari.
Oh yeah.
Which was made quite like 2008, I guess, or 2009 maybe.
Yeah, but the Ghostbusters game didn't tie into anything though. Since, Ghostbusters is hella old.
It didn't tie into anything, but it was still a movie licensed game, that's what I'm saying.
Mm.
Or do you feel like at that point Ghostbusters had grown beyond just a movie?
Well, the story for the Ghostbusters game I know was written still by Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
So I think that was really like a project that they wanted to do. And not just, we gotta push this product to make the monies. Unlike the curse of most movie tie-in games where its only purpose is to make more money off this license.
Heck, wouldn't it make more sense if instead of going retail, just put it as a downloadable content? A download-only title?
Well, that's what they did.
They're doing it now,
Grim,
yeah.
Right?
And
I'm talking about in general, like instead of just making Amazing Spider-Man 2 or getting it on their own Guardians game.
I think that's what seems to be the trend now, is because like mobile. First of all, it's the kiddies are all it's easy access for the kiddies. Like you see how many kids now playing with tablets and stuff. So I guess the market penetration is much larger on mobile for now.
Yeah.
Then downloadable is because, as you said, like we've come to the point now, I think, where the infrastructure of for downloading games is good enough that you don't need to release a full-fledged title to get it, to make a somewhat decent tie-in game.
Yeah. Because I don't know, when it comes to licensed games, I can't really remember the last time I enjoyed one. Well, movie tie-in licensed games, for that matter. Yeah, I don't remember any of them. Like, I don't know, for the life of me, every time I actually play it, I just don't take it really that serious. Just like, you can really tell, like, not much. I can't really say maybe the developers did exert enough effort, but those time constraints and all that. But you can feel like the lack of quality and the rush in it in movie tie-in licensed games, and I think I prefer game tie-ins to be just like an add-on, because like we're in a world now where just DLCs are just everywhere. So if Marvel has games that you can like add in extra stuff, like if they have a Marvel MOBA, they add in Guardians characters or whatnot, or if they have they have Marvel heroes, just dump in Gamora as a playable Diablo-ish character. Like, why not? Like those small things I think are better than just having a retail one. So, like, what about you guys? Is there any? I don't know about you, Biggs. You play a fair amount of licensed games. Like, is there something that kind of stands out, like, comes out as a nostalgic game that's worth playing over and over?
Like a specific title of a different generation, or just
or in general, or any. It doesn't have to be a generation. Like you played a lot of licensed games. What's your most memorable one?
Before that, my mentality going into like playing a movie license game is usually, I like that movie, I want more, so I need my fix, and it births the craving for getting the action figure of this guy or getting X product of that guy.
That's the generous reaction.
I played the Thor game and the Iron Man game. Like, because Iron Man 1 was cool, so like, I have a PSP, well, is there an Iron Man game for it? Oh yeah, sure, I'll play it. Then, like, of course it's kind of broken, but, I found fun in it, even though it's far from the best game. As long as the game is functional and has a bit of enjoyment, I'll play it. But if it's just really bad, then no. One movie game that did stick into my head, which I live streamed during Star Wars Day, was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace on PlayStation 1.
Oh my god, I remember that game.
Yeah, you can remember how, I would say, ambitious the game is?
No, I remember playing that game.
Yeah, because
that was
like
pretty good.
The easiest way to describe it is think of Mass Effect for the PS1.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's a good description. Yeah.
Yeah, because you had like aside you played one of the Jedi's, like either Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon Jinn. But instead of just having a lightsaber, you can pick up different kinds of guns, grenades, rocket launchers on the way. And the most Mass Effect, like why I call this like old school Mass Effect is there are dialogue trees in this game that actually affect how NPCs treat you in certain stages.
Yeah, I remember that was like what PS1 was very ambitious really in itself.
It's far from being a good game, but it tried to do so many things that was not even a thing back then. Like dialogue trees that actually, like I said, affected how NPCs treated you in certain areas. Like there was one scene where you were on Tatooine, the sand planet, and you had to face Jabba. If you brought out your sword in the town, people would just start shooting at you. And like if you shit talk certain characters, their group will also attack you or something, or just like scuff you off. Or I think there was that point where you could buy items from a shop, and if you shit talk the guy, he would stop selling items to you, more or less.
That's pretty.
And then
interesting dialogues.
You can lock yourself in a corner by saying the wrong dialogues to some characters, and then it wouldn't trigger events until you had to like do something after or whatever. And I don't know.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
That game was weird, and you can kill Jabba the Hutt in that stage too.
No, I remember that game, The Phantom Menace. I actually fairly enjoyed that one. It was actually a big surprise. Was it only PS1 or was it a PS?
I think it was only on PS1.
I forgot.
Yeah, as far as movie games go, that's my most memorable one.
Go back even further. Like I remember playing like the old Capcom Disney games, like the Aladdin on Super Nintendo. That was a great game.
Speaking of which, it was the Lion King one from SNES. Like the
I never played the Lion King one, but Aladdin was very good. I remember I really liked Aladdin a lot. And I did play a Jungle Book one, but I mean, I don't know. That wasn't really a direct tie-in.
The Jungle Book platformer. I remember that one.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it seemed to like the way I see it. It's when you get crappy movie tie-in games. It's a combination of one, it's being pushed on by non-video game people, for one. And two, there's such a huge constraint in the time and the budget that there really isn't enough there to get out what the intended design vision was for that game. That's the way I see it. Is it a good trend or is it a bad trend? I guess for me, I don't really see it as one or the other. Like the fact is, like we're always going to have them. I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. What we're going to see change is more of the
platform and the style of games.
Right.
Yeah, it's very dependent on generation. I don't see them as a negative or like Will said, a negative or positive. It's like I don't mind it's there. Because there are some games that end up being okay, some of them end up being good. Like, the X-Men Origins Wolverine game? The really...
that was actually fun.
Yeah, the really bloody God of War-ish like game. That was... When that was being developed, it was not meant to be a movie tie-in. That's why the story is completely different. What happened was when the movie was coming out, they were like, oh, we need a game for this. Hey, you're making that Wolverine game? Let's change the title. And I think that ended up working better for them because it probably sold more than it would if it came out as its own Wolverine game.
Yeah, if there were two Wolverine games coming out around the same time, people would have missed out on the better game, obviously, put it in that sense. Because if they had went ahead and developed a Wolverine title to coincide with the film and then released what did become the tie-in game, more likely than not, people would not have bothered looking at the
non-movie title one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because like it or not, these movie games, even though they're not, some of them, most of them are not good. They do sell quite a few.
What about E.T.?
Oh, dude, that thing is it's.
Dude, that game is so legendarily bad.
Like
that the angry video game nerd is making a feature film about it.
It's out already in the States.
Is it?
Yeah.
I still want to watch that.
Because people deemed it as the worst game ever.
The video game crash of the 1980s.
That greatly contributed to the crash of, I forgot what year, but yeah, the video game crash. It greatly contributed to that.
And the legend, the urban myth is true. It was buried in Mexico. All of them.
It was buried. They found it, right? They found
it's with Microsoft now.
What's Microsoft going to do with all these unused Atari cards?
The same thing that they're going to do with all those PS3s that they traded in for Xbox Ones. We don't know.
What? Keep it? They lock him up. I mean, you have no idea where they're transporting them. The PS3s and the EPs.
We can't have them. No one will.
Oh, why would you want the EP? No, but yeah, licensed games, I don't know. It's there. I don't, again, every now and then, but I don't, the current generation, the previous generation, I haven't found something that's very entertaining. But, it as a full price game, $60, I don't think so. Maybe $40 is the best bet. Heck, 20 will be will be pretty generous, actually.
Yeah, for most of them, buying them brand new is usually not the best option. So if you're into these kinds of things, maybe do some research before you buy the games. But if the kids like the superheroes, then it's not so bad.
It keeps them busy, and they can graduate to better stuff eventually.
Oh, and you know what? On our YouTube channel, the most popular video is the Iron Man 2, the game playthrough that we did last year.
Because no one else is playing it, so they're checking out your video.
Probably, yeah. And all the comments in that one is, they're saying stop talking over the scenes. I want to know what's happening in the story. Oh my god.
Oh gosh.
No one has watched the movie. Okay.
Let us know what you guys think though about licensed games. We feel generally speaking, I think they're just something we have to live with. They're not the greatest games. Can the resources be put to better things? Yeah, for sure. But at the end of the day, they're getting paid to do it, to make these, so that can't be a bad thing.
The video game industry is a very harsh world.
You decide, is it better off as a digital copy or just plain old, okay, fine, retail, why not?
Yeah, or how would you like to see them evolve? Realistically speaking, you can't say oh, I wanted to go away forever.
I like your idea of it, if it's a new franchise or, if they make a new Ghost Rider film or if they do anything new or anything they need to put a game out, I think it's better just to dump it on different assets. Or make it very easy, a very cheap way, an iOS, a free game or whatnot. How Marvel's doing it is actually a perfect way of doing it. They're just dumping on different channels. Characters.
Yep.
Did you notice the trend with these movie games where, back then, it would always just be the story of the movie, and when the platform allowed it, they would just include video scenes from the movie into the game.
Oh yeah.
And then
no, that's true.
And not too long ago, they're doing the thing where it's not the story of the movie. It has the characters from the movie, but then they're going to add more characters and then change the story up a bit.
Or it's a side story.
Or a side story or what happens after kind of thing.
Yeah, like I said in Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's it's the same story, but they
sort of takes
Kingpin,
place after, in both games.
They added Kingpin, Black Cat, whatnot. They added more juice into the story, and
it makes for a more entertaining game that way than just having I know what happens now. Or the Thor game on the Wii, the first Thor movie. It had a game on the Wii. The story was completely different from the movie tie-in, from the movie story. Same with the PS3 version, I think. instead of Thor going to Earth, it's just the whole war against the Frost Giants. Then you had some key characters actually die during the story.
Oh, really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Movie, so yeah, that makes it a little more interesting than just having it like be a retelling of what you have already seen.
Anyways, let's move on a little from this.
Which is good. We
got some, bad news, I guess. But apparently Crytek, which is the tech company who makes the Cry engine and who are responsible for games like Crysis and a whole bunch of other licensed titles, apparently are in some trouble. There's been a bunch of reports of various oddities going on in their offices. People not getting paid, games being canceled. The most recent one, it was a Homefront 2.
Homefront Revolution. Which essentially is a possible, like, I think it's a first-person shooter that is an open world in Crytek engine.
Right.
So
and that not also that, but also the Rise sequel apparently has been canceled as well. Rise: Son of Rome, which was a launch title for Xbox One.
Yeah, if you like all those QTEs, sadly you'll have to find in other games. So
it looks like Crytek is in a bit of trouble here. There hasn't been any major details as to what exactly is happening there, but from all signs, it seems that they're in some deep financial troubles, and they sold off the Homefront title to Deep Silver, who are the guys who make Dead Island.
Dead Island, currently published and helped with Saints Row 4, and they have Metro. I think they have Metro.
Do they have Metro Last Light? Yeah, possibly, I think. So, yeah, how do you guys feel about this news? Like, do you feel like, because I remember talking this earlier, Crytek for me has always been more of a tech company than it's been a game company.
Yeah, I got surprised when it was under my radar completely. I did not know Crytek wasn't this much of a problem, because I only heard rumors that most of their employees haven't been paid for like 2-3 months. I thought that was a rumor, and there was no confirmation about that. But that was the kind of talk that was circulating all throughout the coming weeks. And when I saw the official announcement that Homefront Revolution has now been transferred, like the development has been transferred over to Deep Silver, and the acquisition, the purchase of the IP is underway, I'm like, wow. Like, if they're selling off new IPs that they recently picked up, that means they're in the shit. There is things that have to be done.
Yeah, but I'm also wondering why. Like, what might have caused all these problems? Because they seem to be, doing very well for a period of time. They had, they were licensing out their engines to people. They were making games like Crysis, which I still think is the benchmark for PC gaming. Like, if you want to see how good your rig is, you launch up Crysis and see how well it runs.
Yeah. Even Crysis 1, for that matter. Crysis 1.
Yeah, even Crysis 1, for that matter. Actually, I still think Crysis 1, the Crysis 1 engine is possibly the more robust one, because CryEngine 2 or CryEngine 3 were designed to basically bring that level of detail to consoles, while the first Crysis was designed specifically only for PC. Yeah.
I think that they haven't distributed their engine more, and I think that, I don't know, what other games do they have?
But the thing is, they have it. They even had military contracts. There's a report here that the Australian Air Force had licensed them out to develop their flight simulator training software.
They might have got paid for, like, with gift certificates. I don't know. For that kind of thing. I don't know, because maybe it's not enough. Because Crytek I've always felt that Crytek, the company, was really a big shot. Like, a really big studio. And
they kind of came out of nowhere, too. Like, I remember they were the ones responsible for the first Far Cry. If you ever remember playing the first Far Cry, it was such an amazing looking game for its time.
And then they created the engine for Far Cry, or is it?
Yeah, the first Far Cry engine.
Okay.
And then that eventually evolved into Crysis, which was a spiritual successor to what do you call it? To Far Cry.
Okay.
And then Ubisoft took Far Cry on its own direction with their Dunya engine, right?
Yeah.
So.
No, but there you go. If it's Crysis at that point, and then that's Far Cry 1, it's been Crysis all throughout, no matter what. There's no added new game. They spent, I guess, so much of their money maybe on improving the tech and just making another Crysis game. Because what is it? What's CryEngine 3 right now? It's CryEngine 3 or 4? CryEngine 3.
CryEngine 3, I think.
Yeah. So CryEngine 3, they've made three versions of the engine, and they still are only working with one IP. If you think about it,
that's on their own internal studios, though. But you have to remember, they're licensing out the engine to other people as well. I'm just not. I guess they're undervaluing it or something. I don't know. It could just be their corporate structure is at fault as well. Who knows?
Yeah, actually, we have no actual detail of why they have to do this. But the point is, I know they're now restructuring the company to the point that throwing IPs, they're selling IPs. Their focus are different now. I read an article saying that their focus might be more on free-to-play games and mobile games. And when a company goes
which is a huge downgrade.
When a company goes in that direction, that means they're trying to play it safe. They're trying to make money out, because they know that iOS there's money there, free-to-play, there'll be money there, so they're trying to play it safe. From what it sounds like, it's still new. The news is still new. I don't know why Crytek. It sounds like a bankrupt state for me.
Not yet. I mean,
not yet.
They're not yet, but I guess they're in such a financial shithole right now that they have to kind of start considering playing it safe with a lot of these.
Yeah, because what was it? Homefront Revolution was just announced June, and that was 2 months ago. So something happened in between when they announced in E3 and up to now, because that was a new IP, and apparently they were working on it for the longest time, and something happened. I wonder what. Maybe Crysis 3. Yeah.
I don't think it was Crysis 3, but Crysis 3 definitely undersold, I think, to expectations. But I was under the impression that was being bankrolled by EA completely.
I think so, because no matter what, Crysis 3 is Crysis 2.5 with Jungle Arrow.
Exactly, with a Jungle Arrow. It wasn't exactly a huge leap in tech.
But yeah, that's Crytek. Hopefully it's better.
I'm actually quite sad that it's happening, because I like the idea that there's always been a technology leader in gaming. Remember for a long time it was id. Whenever id came out with Quake, Doom 3, Quake 4, whatever, their game was basically the tech showcase. Yeah. Right. And then Crytek came along and said, "Yo, check out our game," and everyone was like, "Whoa, amazing!" Right?
And I guess that kind of magic wore off as the years went by, because of course, Crysis 1, then now Crysis 2, and then people felt it. But now in Crysis 3, I don't know. I forgot about it. I didn't play it yet, so. So I just I don't know. Hopefully they get to bounce back here. But it's good to know that Homefront Revolution, for those who are waiting for that game, it's not canceled. It's just transferred to Deep Silver. The whole team is moving to Deep Silver. They're not canning anybody. It's just the work and development of that game is not happening now in the Crytek studios or in Crytek property. It's being sold. So they pretty much got the IP plus the people is what happened.
Pretty good deal, if you ask me.
Yeah, so hopefully it's still on the right track. We'll still get Homefront Revolution, but now we'll have a deep silver logo before it when we start that game up. And I know I'm fine with that. They saved a lot of good IPs from the THQ bankruptcy, so thank you, Deep Silver.
Yep.
Yes.
I think they even have. They still have the Dark Side. Who owns that? This is them also, right?
No, Darksiders. Who the hell owns Darksiders right now? It's not them. It's someone else. It's not a big. Deep Silver did not pick it up. Crytek wanted to pick up Darksiders at one point, but they just decided to get Homefront. I remember that. But I know I think it's Nordic Games, to be honest. Yeah, it's Nordic Games.
That's right, Nordic
there
Games.
There you go. It came back to me. But yeah, Crytek. Good luck to them. What else we got?
You wanted to discuss a little bit about PlayStation Now, and your experience or your thoughts on it, because you're technically the only one who's got a PS4 amongst us. Which puts you in a unique position to talk about it, because we don't have, none of us have access to it except you, I think.
Yeah, well. Okay, so PlayStation Now is a streaming service for PS4 users, and it essentially gives you the ability to rent and play the games, like PS3 games and PS4 games, via streaming for a certain amount of money. So, in concept, it's a kind of cool idea, because this is PlayStation's answer to backwards compatibility for those that are missing out in some PS3 games, or hopefully PS2 games in the future. And if they want to play it, they can use this service, PlayStation Now, to play the game. Now, it's currently now in open beta. PlayStation 4 owners across the globe can now see it. It's in the PlayStation Store. The problem is, it's but expensive. It's but highway robbery-ish. Like, okay.
So what do you think they need to do to make this more, to make this viable? Is it just the issue of price, you think? Or?
It's the issue of price, because look, here's how it breaks it down. How I break it down. If you want to play a game, the lowest renting choice you have is $5 for 4 hours. You have to spend $5.
$5 for 4 hours of wow, really? That's not a lot of time.
Yeah.
In the greater scheme of things.
And then and then I think the maximum one is like 90 days for like $40. I mean, if it's $40, I'd rather just buy the game instead of being like, your time is up after a couple of months. But because even at $4, some games, like for example, Metal Gear Solid 4, for example, if you want to live stream that for 4 hours, that's $5. Metal Gear Solid at $5 is what? $5 is
it's like 200 pesos.
Yeah, 200 pesos. Wouldn't you want to add 600 pesos and get it secondhand for a full game? It's like around 800 pesos. I mean,
exactly.
I don't understand. I don't understand when seeing these prices. I don't understand PlayStation Now anymore. It just makes it just greatly supports the idea that why bother? Let's just buy secondhand. Like, as much as you want us to spend $20 for $30 to try out a game or to play a game for a week or possibly finish it, cool. But it just makes secondhand sales or secondhand more appealing. At this point, they can change the prices.
It's something like where they're trying to get back to the old video rental style of things, where you'd rent a game for a while.
Yeah, maybe. And I think them being protected by the fact that it's open beta, they're just testing the waters on the reactions towards the players or the users. Like, it's too expensive. Okay, then we have to adjust. Because, I don't know, like $5, they can just bring it down to maybe $2 or not even $1. But then we'll have to... I don't know, it's still hard to tell. I just don't see the point of PlayStation Now if they price it... Even if they cut the price to half, I'd rather just go for secondhand still. Because I don't like the fact that I have a week to play this game, or I have 4 hours or a couple of hours to play this game, or heck, a month.
Yeah, and for certain games, that's really not enough time. Like, I guess if you blast through everything, you could possibly finish a game within 4 hours, 8 hours, I guess. But then you're missing, so much.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, some games require like 50 to 60 hours. So what? You're forced to play this to pay this certain amount.
Yeah.
Or are PlayStation Now people, or will they cheap down, really reduce the price of the hourly rates just for them to try out the game? But that also doesn't make sense because they also have those PS Plus.
It also kind of feels like a big, not experiment, but they're trying to add because this is their Gaikai service basically, right?
Yeah, yes.
Game streaming service. So for me, it feels like they're trying to do something with it, and this is their first concept, I guess. Although, as you said, it doesn't sound like it's the most well thought out right now as far as pricing goes.
It's not, and then again, it's a streaming service. It's not. You're not playing it. You're streaming it. So it's based solely on internet. So if you're in a weird situation, like you're in the Philippines and you rent a game for a week,
that's a completely weird situation.
And then for some reason, Glenda shows up and then PLDC screws you over. But you've already paid for the service.
You're screwed.
You have to wait a couple of days, to actually use the service. It just doesn't make any sense. In terms of third world countries and in terms of like Southeast Asia, the PlayStation doesn't make any sense. And it still also doesn't make any sense for those. It's online, eh? It's online.
Yeah, you have to take into account the input lag because you are streaming it. And
yeah, because I'll always have that lingering thought that if I pay for a week, I kind of want to rush the game because I am in the time limit. I don't want to waste my money.
Yeah, you're pressured with the time limit.
Yeah, and then there's quality of the game. If you have a horrible networking or internet speed at that point, and then you see a little bit of stuttering and lag, that will ruin your experience of the game because you'll have input lag and stuff like that. So I don't think the pricing is a big problem, but I think their execution of the Gaikai service is not properly thought of at this point because it's just stupid. Yeah, it's cool. It's like 100 games now in the library. Yay. But I'd rather have
work for us in this country.
I'd rather have it added into the PlayStation Plus package as a feature. Like reduced prices, and then you can try a game for an hour or two via streaming. That's okay. But a full frontal rental service, I don't think it will work. I don't think especially here, like you said.
I mean, for me, if I had access to this, it would be something for me I would use to check out a game, but not for the price. I mean, I'd rather just download the demo.
Yeah.
If it came to that, I'd rather get a demo, download it for free, than have to pay $5 to get a stream of it. Like I don't mind waiting.
And most games have demos anyway, so like the 4-hour rental service or whatnot. Those are obviously like if you want to try out the game, and then you can buy the full game if you want to. But the demos, mostly all of them have demos. Go for that instead of paying for $5 or $2 just to try it out for like a couple of hours.
Do you think there's a segment of the market we're missing out here who would really rather not wait and play? Pay $5 to play it right away. Though, do you think there is a market for that?
That's a good point.
Even if it's just for demos.
Like, you do get to play the game right off the bat, though. Like, if you really want it, if you really want to try it out, you pay that hefty amount of that amount of money just to play it, and then bam, if you have a good internet connection, you can play it right away. I think it's a very
niche market. Yeah,
but
I agree.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think it's a very niche market, especially like it's not like for example MOBA games or whatnot or like paywalls. People like buy it anyway. It's because it's a free service anyway. You play those free games and then you have that incentive to play. But this one,
yeah, I feel this one also is it's a little weird how they're doing it now. So hopefully, whatever they'll fix it up and give us something a bit more valuable for our money.
I think I heard that. I didn't check this though, but like one of the games was play Guacamelee for 90 days for $15, but you can buy the game for $10.
You can buy the game for $10 and you would finish the game in 7 days.
Probably even less, because Guacamelee is not very long.
Yeah,
so I don't know. The pricing options are not very good. It doesn't help that it won't work in this country too, so we're extra butthurt about that.
Well, yeah, butthurt, but I don't know. At this point, the minimum price tag for this service doesn't make sense because there's demos anyway, and then the maximum choice, which is like the I don't know, a couple of months, 1 month, 3 months, also doesn't make any sense. Even if you cut the current price down to like half, because why bother getting that when you could get the game at second hand, and it doesn't make any sense. Unless you don't want to buy a PS3, I guess. You know what I mean?
I guess since this is like Sony is like experimenting with this, and I can't really name any other service like this except for maybe OnLive.
Yeah, OnLive, but OnLive also like tanked. You know how OnLive.
Yeah, and this one is sort of, I guess, international, like the PlayStation Now. So we'll just wait and see. Like, I think streaming, like game streaming, will be part of gaming in the future.
Does not work.
It's just like right now it doesn't work because internet is shit. So
well, speaking of things that are bad value for money, our friends at EA have just released something they now call EA Access, only on your Xbox One, which is a $5 a month. Basically, it's $5 a month to get free EA games. The way I see it, it's like Sony, it's like PlayStation Plus, but only for EA stuff.
It's Xbox Live Gold, PSN Plus, but EA shit.
But only EA shit, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, if you really love them Maddens and them Battlefields, this is just the ticket for you. But yeah, what do you guys think? This sounds like a pretty bad idea.
Yep. Plus it's EA, so it's a bad idea.
No, not just because
it's EA. We're not gonna. It's just, I think.
No, it's a bad idea, but like with it being run by EA, it's an even worse idea. So it's already going downhill.
Yeah, because these are limited to only EA titles. So first of all,
mention the games, man.
The games they have right now.
For the first EA Access.
First EA Access. Battlefield 4.
Of course, everybody has
Madden. Yeah. Madden 25.
Yep, people like the Maddens.
FIFA 14. People like the
FIFAs too.
And Peggle 2.
Oh,
people like.
That's the best one, man. X-Gen right there.
Wait.
One.
Before we talk about EA Access, please explain to me why people like Peggle. I played it and do not get it.
I played Peggle 1 too.
Peggle is like pachinko, basically. Like that's how
isn't that like all luck based and shit?
It is luck based. You shoot it and then you just you pray for God to to help me. I don't understand Peggle. You pretty much shoot it, the ball goes all the way on top, and it starts to go down slowly, hit other crap. Cool. I don't know why everybody was so excited for Peggle 2. I don't know why. I don't understand
same people who get excited for Bejeweled. I mean,
at least Bejeweled isn't completely luck based and random.
At least I have control of what the hell is happening in Bejeweled. Because I did this is how many colors I have to work with. Unlike in Peggle, oh crap, it kind of went that way. I wasn't expecting that one. And then, I don't know.
Well, in any case, the other thing about this game is it's limited to modern EA titles. If they had given me access to every EA title ever made, I might consider that. If I had access to...
If it was everything, that would be...
If it was dude, if I could play the original Dungeon Keeper, or anything I would love that. But this is, that's not going to happen. EA is just going to give you what you think you want to play. They're going to give you The Sims, SimCity, whatever,
Yeah, no. Next month you get Sims 2 and then the expansions, which they gave for free last week.
Shit.
No, they gave it for free already last week. So I don't know. I think we're already filled with subscription-based shit already. And I highly doubt someone would like to play, or it's Xbox One, right? So I highly doubt someone would want to go Xbox Live, which is already giving them 2 free games of any other publisher, depending on the combination, and add in $5 more into their, their monthly bill to play EA games, which I think, I don't know. I don't think it's enough good value because, yes.
It really sounds like whoever came up with this idea, again, is not a gamer.
Yeah, it's probably one of the suits.
It smells like a suits idea to me.
The kids like them Netflix, right?
I don't know, man. Initially, Madden, FIFA 14, those games came out a couple of months ago? Battlefield 4 last year?
Yeah, and the thing is, if I really wanted, the way I see it, especially for sports games, if you're really a sports gamer, you're going to buy that game every year.
Every year.
You know, and
that's another thing. If I can get the latest Madden for $5, maybe it'll be pretty good, but if you're asking me to buy EA Access now to play the latest Madden, even though we'll get the new one in 2 months, I think, no. Never mind. I don't think I'll bother with that one. And what else do you get out of EA Access aside from free games?
That's it. I think you get early access to some EA stuff, so you might get in the betas.
Yeah, worst case scenario, they'll give out the demos in EA Access. Because remember, they are trying to push this whole pay $5 for this demo thing right now, right?
No,
Yeah.
It was a bug.
Oh, that was a bug?
That was a bug. That wasn't being them pushed. It was.
Or
sadly,
was it? Oh.
I don't know. They're not that.
They're not that smart.
They fixed that already. It's not like you have to pay $5 for the demo. It happened. It was a bug. Yeah, speculate all you want, but it's already gone. It's not something like EA is doing. Your demos are free.
Will never
but
die.
I think you. Oh no! Here, see, you get 5. You get to get the latest EA games 5 days earlier if you're a membership.
Oh wow!
Woo!
So that's digital.
I guess demos.
And you know
it seems to me that EA's marketing is just a year behind. Do people really give a shit about early access that much? As far as EA games go, at least.
I really think EA just is really full of themselves because they always put some kind of special membership on anything. Battlefield already, I don't think Premium was ever a good idea. Battlefield Premium, but they have that.
I agree. I think Battlefield Premium is a terrible idea.
Yep.
It was, and then they have EA Access, full access.
I feel like
they're not the ones who started online, right? Online passes. They didn't start that, right?
I think they did. I think they actually did. So I feel like EA has these weekly meetings of all right, what bullshit can we come up with today? They like
it happens every single day.
Yep. That's how the business works, I guess.
And then, I don't know, it was just funny and interesting to hear because the reason why it only came out on Xbox One is because PlayStation actually was offered the EA access for PlayStation users, but Sony literally flat out just went, it's not of good value. So, it's
which
not...
is weird because we were just talking about them not giving good value either when it comes to their
so it's not like Xbox or Microsoft picked up EA access exclusively. No, it's just sadly PS4 doesn't want any of it.
Well, maybe Sony declined their offer because they have their own thing that they're trying to work out with PlayStation.
That's the other
now.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And then some PR guy just said that, and that's what came out in the media.
It sounds interesting, PR-wise, because that's a big major blow. It's a big major blow to EA. But yeah, EA early access. I don't know. The only way this will come out interesting, or even viable, I guess, if we can actually get a AAA title 2 months after in this program, I guess. But I don't know. There's a lot of services already that require a monthly payment. I don't want anymore. Like, I'm already on PS Plus, and I think it's already, big enough for me already. Like, just one is good enough. I don't need to put two, and then plus a third-party publisher. Screw that.
That's EA for you, big EA. Not much has changed, apparently.
And then we'll see more bullshit when Sims 4 comes out, so...
We'll see more bullshit in the next episode of the podcast.
Exactly. Anyways, that's pretty much it. We have one last item here. Pretty slow week, but we have got confirmation from the series creator that Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been officially confirmed as being in development.
Yay!
So, for those who don't know, Beyond Good and Evil was a bit of a
sleeper hit.
Cult sleeper hit.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s, I think this was a PlayStation 2 /
GameCube.
Original Xbox / GameCube era.
Yep.
I got it on PC. I thought it was it's a really interesting game where you play like a photographer and you're trying to uncover this big conspiracy in this planet, I guess, of anthropomorphic animals. Hard to explain, but it's a much more serious game than it lets out to be.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all. Like, I don't understand the need for the sequel.
Well, remember the game was a classic hit. It was big enough that it got an HD remake. Yeah. Which is essentially the PC version, I guess.
Okay. But is it a platformer? What, how do you best describe this game? Because I have no information about Beyond Good or Evil. I just know that people want this.
It's a platformer / not character action, I would say.
It's got some combat.
It does have combat. It does have platforming. I'd say the closest thing I can compare it to is
Spyro.
It's like Spyro or Sly Cooper, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of like Sly Cooper, but with a more serious tone to it, I guess.
Okay.
Overall, it just had a very nice aesthetic to it. Like it was a science fiction in a. If you can imagine like a cartoon world, but everything is kind of taken seriously.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like a dark game, like the way the story goes for how it looks.
How it looks, yes, the game is rather dark. But
the talking pig and all that.
Yeah, the talking pig is like your
buddy,
your mentor. Yeah, he's your buddy.
So that's in development. Is it really that? I don't know. It was one of those games like, it's like the Last Guardian. Like, people just want it to happen, but they just keep taking that hope away over and over. That's why it's now kind of big news that people are like, it's officially announced. Yep. We are making.
Yeah, it's one of those E3 predictions that hasn't happened in a long time. Like, I bet they're gonna announce it's like the Last Guardian where they're gonna announce it this year, they're gonna announce it next year, to the point that it just doesn't happen.
It never happens. But yeah, the fans, it's up there. It's now in production officially. And I don't know, I like the fact that Ubisoft right now is a company that is just, they're very big variety now in terms of like they have a good shooter, they have good stealth, they have a good open world, they have also good platformers, they have a lot of good IPs like overall, and then they are now tapping in their old franchises to even further expand their variety of games from Ubisoft.
Yeah, the danger is that they're still susceptible to the yearly franchise thing. Like we're seeing this already with Assassin's Creed for how long, right? So it's just hopefully they'll smarten up a little bit and not necessarily run the franchise into the ground.
I'm gonna call it. Assassin's Creed and Far Cry 4 is coming out this year. Next year will be Assassin's Creed and a new Rayman game, plus a new maybe the Division comes out next year or something, and then a new
Tom Clancy stuff,
and then a new Watch Dogs announced for next year, and then we'll have another.
I really want them to revisit Prince of Persia, but that doesn't seem to be happening. Prince of Persia was their other big franchise, for a long time. That was
Ubisoft, yes.
Yeah, they kind of killed that series with 2007 Prince of Persia.
I like the 2007, the one with just like a new character and stuff.
Yeah, the art style even looked okay.
The art style was great, actually. I really liked that one.
I remember that. It was very slow paced compared to the others.
Really? I thought it was quite fast paced.
Oh, really? Okay.
I guess action-wise, it's very slow compared to all the older ones.
Action, yes. Action-based.
The combat is this Assassin's Creed counter.
But yeah, Beyond Good or Evil 2. That's going to be... I don't know. I think you should play the first one.
It's one of those things where I don't believe it until it has like a trailer of gameplay. Because, sure, it can be worked on now, but then it can be cancelled later on. Like, remember all those Mega Man games that never came out?
Well, that's just Capcom.
Sure, but like Legends had quite a bit of gameplay shown off.
Stuff like that. True. And then we lost Creator as well. They still killed it, yeah. So I think that's it. I think we are done for episode 43. We are on the first week of August, and thanks for listening in, guys. We have an episode every week, every Tuesday morning, or actually evening, depending on how long I edit. If you want to check out our previous episodes, do subscribe on our iTunes, where we have an episode on Tuesdays, and if you want to get updated, just hit that subscribe, rate and comment. We duly, greatly appreciate it. If you, we have one in like around maybe a couple of episodes on iTunes. If you want to check out our full archives, like all the way down to episode 1, you can go to our website, www.toomuchgaming.com. Our archive is there. If you want to check out all our videos, all our shenanigans, and our Let's Plays, go head over to our TMG blog YouTube channel. If you have any questions, concerns regarding this podcast, do send us an email at thetmgblog@gmail.com, or you can send us a tweet or a direct message through Facebook and Twitter. Just follow and like us. It's Too Much Gaming. Just search for us. And I think that's about it.
Yep, that's it.
We will see you guys for episode 44. And yeah, thanks again, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Bye.